This is a public service announcement. Can all RuneScape players gather to the nearest screens immediately? This is a public service announcement. Can all RuneScape players gather to the nearest screens immediately? This is a public service announcement. Can all RuneScape players gather to the nearest screens immediately? Breaking news, RuneScape players urged to gather immediately as speculation if Deadman will ever return.
Only skill specs actually didn't hit zeros with my whip. Legit, I'm not even trolling you, bro. Just like picture how.
Ladies and gentlemen, Deadman mode is back. Thank you. Deadman Reborn will commence on August the 25th at 12 PM BST and close on the evening of September the 16th in preparation for the finale on the evening of September the 17th. $32,000 in prizes, but only one winner will be crowned the Deadman champion. This will be a Deadman like no other. Okay, any questions?
Are there any changes to this Deadman?
Yeah, you could say there's some changes. 3 lives. If you die to a player, you lose a life and everything in your possession along with a bank key containing your 10 most valuable items which the PK will receive. Untradables work the same as the main game, they'll need repairing whilst the PK gets the coins. Losing all 3 lives will be devastating, so make sure to use your intelligence and plan your escape routes.
So what happens when you lose the last life?
Losing the last life doesn't mean Deadman mode's over for you. You'll respawn with a fresh supply of lives. However, combat XP will be fully reset. 10% of all skilling XP is lost. Quest progress is not reset however, but all items from your bank and safety deposit box will be wiped. All points within the emblem store and items in Death's Coffer are wiped also. All active and inactive sigils will be lost and you will now choose from a new set of tier 2 sigils along with 15 minutes of protection. Losing your first 2 lives is just like a regular Deadman death with no loss of XP, but just try not to lose the last one.
Sigils? What are they?
Similar to relics from League, sigils enhance your gameplay drastically by adding an additional layer of powerful buffs. Depending on the task at hand, you'll be able to swap and change your sigil as long as you're in a safe zone and unskulled. By attuning your chosen sigil, it'll cause it to become untradeable and you'll be able to benefit from its powerful, unique abilities. To make it tradable again, unattune the sigil and swap it out for another. There's 3 tiers of sigils, with the higher tier sigils only available on the higher combat level worlds, which I'll get onto soon. When logging into Deadman Reborn for the first time, or when losing your last life, you'll have a selection of tier 2 sigils to pick one from, along with 15 minutes of protection. You can have 3 sigils active at one time, but only 2 can be combat related. Additional sigils will be obtained as drops from NPCs that can also be traded through the Grand Exchange. Losing one of your lives that isn't your last. Attuned sigils will remain safe in your possession, but any unattuned sigils in your inventory will be deleted. Any attuned and unattuned sigils are lost forever after losing your last life.
So Torvesta, what do you think? Can we get a sneak peek of some of the sigils?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, okay. Here's an exclusive look at 3 of the sigils. Sigil of the Ruthless Ranger. Upon dealing range damage, you have a 10% chance of crippling the target's movement. The effect deals 6 damage over the next 6 seconds and drains a total of 30 run energy in that time. A target can only be under the effect of 1 crippling effect at a time. You'll also gain an additional 50% XP in the ranging skill. Next up, Sigil of the Feral Fighter. Upon dealing melee damage, you have a 10% chance of setting your attack speed to 1.8 seconds for the next 3 attacks within the next 12 seconds. You'll also gain an additional 25% XP in the attack and strength skills. And lastly, Sigil of the Menacing Mage. Upon dealing magic damage, you have a 10% chance of cursing the target. The curse deals 12 damage over the next 6 seconds and heals you for the same amount. A target can only be under the effect of 1 curse at a time. You'll also get an additional 50% XP in the magic skill. And that's just a preview of 3. It's going to be super interesting because this is completely new and there's no meta in place. Knowing which sigils are the best for which activity, it's definitely going to spice things up.
So you mentioned combat level worlds. How exactly does that work?
No longer can you be a level 126 and one hit level 3 because combat level worlds is now a thing. Combat bracket worlds are split into 4 tiers, level 3 to 35, level 36 to 70, level 71 to 100, and lastly 101 to 126. Having too high or low of a combat level will prevent you from joining a world. When advancing to a new combat level world, you are given 60 minutes of protection. Strategize to stay as low combat as possible whilst doing a certain quest or risky activity, or maybe you want to make a low level account build to PK the lower level players. XP can be locked via Nigel in Lumbridge, and PvP encounters will not grant you combat XP to avoid leveling unwanted combat levels. This is going to bring great variety with different PK builds rather than just maxing out your combat. Strategizing will be really interesting, keeping your combat level low to complete certain tasks.
How will the XP multiplier work this time?
Your combat XP will increase the higher up the combat worlds you go, starting at 10 times combat XP in the level 3 to 35, 15x for 36 to 70, 20x for 71 to 100, and finally 25 times for 101 to 126. Non-combat skills will be 10 times, however quest and XP rewards will also be 10 times, which has never been done before.
So are some of these quests going to be auto-completed still? I kind of struggle with quests.
Thanks for the question, Soup. I understand quest guides can be a pain to follow. Certain quests will be auto-completed depending which combat tier world you can access. In the level 3 to 35, these quests are auto-completed. In the level 36 to 70 are as followed. 71 to 100. And lastly, 101 to 126 gives you Barrow's Glows. But remember, auto-completed quests won't give you the usual rewards, so maybe staying lower combat to complete the rewarding auto-completed quests might be a good idea.
Is the Duel Arena open?
No. Duel Arena, Castle Walls, Trouble Brewing, Fire Pits, Rat Pits, Pest Control, Last Man Standing, and the Underwater Fossil Island are locked. However, Zora and Demonic Gorillas are back. Even Raids 1 and 2, anything you can think of. There's definitely going to be some volatile Nightmare Staffs and Elysians in the 1v1s. Way more variety, new strategies will definitely be in place.
Are the drop rates still multiplied?
Yep, all the drops on the screen right now will be 4 times more common.
Will the unique Deadman drop table be back?
Yeah, the Deadman drop table's back with even more unique rewards, which includes the powerful ancient warrior weapons, sigils, resources, emblems, and a bunch of mysterious valuable equipment we don't know yet. The higher combat level the monster, the better chance you have of rolling on the drop table, with superior slayer creatures being guaranteed to roll. The ancient warrior weapons can be obtained by killing any NPCs, but killing NPCs in the wilderness have a greater chance of dropping them.
How will the PJ timer work this time around?
Previously, the PJ timer was 7.2 seconds, meaning you had to get a freeze on your opponent, get the last hit on them, and stand around an obstacle or underneath them to get the perfect teleport. Now the PJ timer will be 9.6 seconds, giving solo players a way better chance of survival. Anti-boxing measures will prevent players abusing this feature, and boxing other players is against the rules. Boxing NPCs is allowed, however X-logging is also bannable. Previously, straight after killing an NPC you could teleport. This will no longer be the case. Once out of combat with an NPC, if you've engaged in combat, NPCs will not be able to attack you until 9.6 seconds of no combat with a player's passed. Deadman just got even riskier. To benefit solo players a little more, Lunar Isle, Bandit Camp, Shadow Dungeon, Barbarian Village and White Wolf Mountain will now be a single way combat area. Furthermore, spear special attacks can no longer push players from singles to multi-way combat, as we've seen in previous Deadmans. Is muling allowed? Nope, muling is bannable.
So, will the skill mechanics still work the same?
This time around, if you attack another player first, you will only get a skull for 5 minutes. Attacking a player back who attacked you first won't give you a skull, and if you're successful at killing your opponent, you'll get 60 seconds of immunity. However, attacking a player or logging out in this time will lose your immunity.
How will the Deadman mode finale work this time around?
Previously, there was a separate tournament event consisting of the top 2,000 ranked players from the seasonal, which lasted a week where you'd start your accounts all over again. This time, Deadman Reborn will take the top 2,048 ranked players. Your account used in Deadman Reborn season will be the same account used for the Deadman Reborn finale. No more final multi-stage. We had a lot of solo players complaining that they had to join a clan for the final hour to stand a chance of making it to the 1v1s. So we're jumping straight to the 1v1s. There'll be 4 worlds, each restricted to a maximum of 512 players, each split across various regions. Each world will operate on a first come first serve basis, and once the world is full, no additional players can join. And of course, anyone found to be abusing game mechanics or cheating in any way will be disqualified immediately. 2,048 players must prepare themselves for the first round of the 1v1s. All players will be able to bank and change the setup whilst also being able to change your attuned sigils. Once the first round begins, banking will no longer be possible. 1024 will remain for round 2. Fights from hereafter will have the supplies as stated on the screen. 512 players will be granted access to the final 1v1 world. 1v1s will continue until there's one man left standing. The Deadman Reborn champion, $20,000 richer. So what are you waiting for? Get practicing, update your membership, and check out the blog in the description for more details. But most importantly, don't miss the finale being streamed on the Old School RuneScape Twitch channel on the 17th of September. I'll be seeing you in Deadman mode.